The information provided on this podcast is intended to be educational and informational only and is not considered to be formal legal advice. The listener should not take or refrain from taking action based on its content. Any listener in need of legal opinion upon which to rely in decision-making should consider formally engaging an attorney to review relevant facts in detail and examine the pertinent law as it applies to those facts.
Welcome to Real Estate Milestones, where we explore fascinating topics in commercial real estate with knowledgeable industry experts. I'm your host, Ben Malech, and I'm a young real estate professional who is passionate about adding value to people's lives through the incredible power of real estate. My goal is to help you discover what the heck is going on in the industry and how you can get involved. This is Real Estate Milestones, where your future in real estate lies just around the corner.
Hello, everyone. This is Ben coming to you from Potomac, Maryland. Today we got Mike Strug talking to us from New Jersey. And Mike, I'm super honored to have Mike on here today because he's one of my first mentors in real estate, and I guess in my career journey in all. And has been a real inspiration to me in everything I do, and he's been a really great friend. He also is a alumni of Tulane, which is obviously lovely school, and he's the founder of the Young Real Estate Professionals of New York. And I think the best person to tell you more would be himself. So, Mike, can you tell us your story and tell us about a few of your milestones?
Yeah, well, I'm a native Texan. I'm from Houston, and I as you mentioned, I went to Tulane, and we have deep roots in New Orleans. And my parents and twin brother went to Tulane. A lot of family went to Tulane, and I started in commercial real estate about a year or so after being in college. And I was a math and economics major in college. I wasn't your traditional business school student. I got into the finance world. I got a job in commercial real estate and just fell in love with the industry. I started with Prudential back in Houston, and then kind of bounced around a little bit for the first 3 or 4 years in Houston. Worked in brokerage, worked in research, analytics, finance, and it was great because I got a little taste of different things when I was young and different aspects of commercial real estate, and just completely fell in love with the industry. Eventually, I moved up. I got married, moved up to the New York area, went to Columbia Business School, and continued in commercial real estate up here. And one of the milestones is when I started. After I graduated business school in 2001, I started this group, Young Real Estate Professionals of New York. I just thought there really wasn't networking back then as much as it is today. There wasn't even Facebook. There wasn't even anything. And I said, let's get people together at a pub, a restaurant in New York in commercial real estate so we can all meet each other. And sure enough, 20 years later, we're still having events in person. Actually, during the pandemic, I mean, we had virtual. We're trying to get back into it now. And that's probably and now we're at 20-year anniversary of the group. And it's been a great way for people in New Jersey and New York to meet each other in person, do deals together, help each other find jobs, get to know each other all across the commercial real estate industry. So, and I've been in the New York area, New Jersey area for about 20 years, working in the industry, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And I can attest to YREP being an awesome organization. And I think we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But first, Mike has one of the most unique, I think, aspects on commercial real estate, given him having seen the industry from so many different lenses and positions across the industry. So I wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about some of the different perspectives you've gotten from being in different locations in the industry, and kind of, like what you've learned from that.
Well, what's great about the industry is a couple of things. I've done different things in the industry. I've been in acquisitions, asset management, commercial mortgage brokerage, which now is called capital markets advisory, research analyst, analytics. But for a while, I was a lender, originator, and underwriter. And even though and it's interesting because I talked to a lot of college kids, and sometimes their focus are almost too focused on, I need to be in acquisitions at 22, or I need to be appraiser, I need to be this at 22. And after going through my career, my advice is it probably doesn't matter as much. The common theme for me through all my jobs is commercial real estate properties. A couple of jobs were office and industrial. Right now, I'm looking at BlackRock at all the property types. Some companies I just did a couple property types, but my main theme is deal flow. I always wanted to see deals, whether it was in acquisitions or lending or analytics or whatever. And I think that's a key thing. I think a key takeaway from this is just go to places where you can be active doing deals, because that will help you pivot to your next job and next job. And I was able, when I moved jobs, I was able to tell employers, well, I know how to size up a deal. I know how to analyze a deal. Whether it's from the acquisition side or lending side or brokerage side, it didn't matter. The main theme was commercial real estate. And what was also great about commercial real estate is that it's a local game. It's a national game. I mean, real estate is Montgomery County, Maryland, or New Orleans, or Williamsburg, Brooklyn, but it's also East Coast. It's West Coast. It's America. It's global. And when you interview for jobs, you can pick what you want to do. I'm a Texan. I'm in New York. I've always wanted to focus on national. I just love LA and Seattle and Houston and Dallas, and I love focusing on national real estate. So that's my thing. But you can make a living on just Orlando, Florida, or Metairie, Louisiana as well. So it's, your career is just going to, it's great to set goals, and I'm a big goal setter in life in general. It's great to set goals, but also know it's okay to pivot, because when you start working at 22 or 23 or 24 or 25, your career is going to take off on its own. You're going to hear about a new industry, or a pandemic's going to happen, or something's going to happen, and you just have to just keep it rolling,
Yeah, definitely. And I like what you said about, looking at national real estate. And I thought it's really cool at this age to see a variety of different things. It's like, if I only see one market, maybe I'll start extrapolating things about real estate, but this could only be about this one market. And I think it's cool to see different deals from different places and kind of, immerse yourself into different things. Because I think it just, at this age when I'm trying to learn so much, it's a good way to learn a lot.
Oh yeah. And it's all fun. I mean, my first 3 or 4 years, I was just looking at Houston real estate, and that was great too, because I had Galleria Market, and in North Houston, then the Woodlands, and then Spring, and then Clear Lake area, and Sugar Land, and even one city could be diverse and all that, and so national even more so. But yeah, there's a lot of things out there in the industry, a lot of ways to go, and there's no one correct way, there's no incorrect way. It's just your path, basically, and it's gonna happen over time.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So I guess we should say not to stress too much about the nitty-gritty details, but yeah, I guess just if you want to be in real estate, find someone in real estate, and that should be a good way forward. And so I guess this kind of ties in that Mike happens to be one of the best networkers that I've ever met, and that might be how we met originally. But definitely a lot of my inspiration to network, and even ultimately to start this, and it's kind of, this podcast is in a way is networking for me. But yeah, I guess I wanted to ask him a little bit, or Mike, if you could share a little bit about the importance of networking and some of the things you do to, I guess, just as you network. And yeah, if you could just elaborate a little bit on that, it'd be great. I think there's a lot of insight you can provide.
Yeah, I try to network. I mean, in-person networking is great. I know we're having issues now with the pandemic. In-person networking I've always enjoyed. You really meet someone, exchange cards, or nowadays you can just exchange LinkedIn, on the QR code, whatever. It's always great to expand your network, because for deals, for future jobs. And I think like I've talked to students, for example. I've talked to a lot of college students, and I always tell them, if you're a sophomore, you should talk to all the juniors and seniors, because they're having internships that you want next year. If you're a senior, you should talk to the 2021 grads, the last year's graduate, the year before, because they're the ones who know, they're the ones who recently been to the job hunt. So you always want to talk to people older than you, but also younger too, because if you're a senior, you talk to sophomores, because when you're 27 and they're 25, you're 32 and they're 30, it doesn't matter anymore. So you always want to network within your school, and of course, alums of your school, because the way I network is I find a common theme or common bond. It could be your school, my school. It could be friends and family, someone I know. I love when someone posts that. I always congratulate someone if they have a new job or a promotion, And I like to see who else congratulates them, not just like it, congratulate, because then that means I immediately have a common bond with that guy. I did it today. Someone got a promotion. I congratulated the person. Someone else did. I saw his profile. I said, "Oh, I'd love to connect with you. I see you congratulated Joe. I'll make it Joe as well." And that, boom. So I find that common bond. I think that helps a long way. And I try to set up a call with that person, with people too. I try to get to know someone if you can. And then another thing I say, try to keep organized. I mean, I love LinkedIn. I use it a lot. You could export your contacts to Excel, to a CSV file, then to Excel. And I do that. I keep my Excel's on this computer. I have another screen here, and my network. I throw everything on Excel. And then if I talk to someone, if I meet someone, I put he's in acquisitions or lending or New York or maybe investment banker, and then I can edit, find, and search it quickly too. So I try to keep organized with my network as well.
Yeah, that's really awesome advice. And I've been using Excel for, I guess, 2 years to keep my contacts organized, but I just switched to a CRM because I felt like it's kind of hard to program like the follow-ups and like remember what I need to do. And like, I think it provides more context and more organization, and like I'm always trying to optimize my organization. So yeah, Excel definitely is a great start. It's really easy, but I think if you find a CRM that works, then I used to use HubSpot because there's a free version.
Yeah, what's the thing? There's a lot of new things out there. Again, every generation. Oh yeah, no, I mean, again, I just love it. I define it, and it kind of works. But you're right. Anything that works for you. Some people, a notebook works. A notebook or a pad works. Yeah. And it's all. And the thing, it's all positive. Whoever helps is great. And I just making. I also sometimes a college student will let's say he's a junior, and he gets an internship, and he stops networking. And I always I think that's so funny. Why would you stop? Because that's when you start networking. Because just for the future, I mean, why not just meet other people, meet alums? It's not just about your 20-year-old job. It's about your 22-year-old job, your 28-year-old job, your 34. You always want to keep networking. So I think that's a key thing. Never stop.
Yeah, and I think it's even more than that. It's not just about your next job. It's about the deals in every aspect. So like, I'm trying to keep networking because like maybe my first job when I'm expected to just be an analyst, I could already be originating deals or something. Like, why not go above and beyond? And I think that, it all comes down to your network being your net worth, and that kind of idea of, I guess, especially in real estate, it being a lot about connections. So
yeah, it's also about learning. Like I expand my network too, just to learn. I met someone who does. He's an intermediary and he did an incredible job. It was just great learning about what their company does. And I spoke to someone a week ago that's some private equity real estate firm, and you hear private equity a lot, which is great. I wanted to say, I asked him, what do you do? What does your firm do exactly? What are you acquiring? And it was great. I learned so much from that call, and someone who I met just on LinkedIn. So you can learn so much from talking to people, meeting people. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's an amazing point, because that's honestly my main inspiration for networking. I guess I started 2 years ago. I was like, wow, I like finance, I like business, but I have no idea what I want to do. Like, I kind of knew about real estate, but like really, like I entirely came down this road by just reaching out to anyone who would take my phone call. And I guess Mike was one of those people along my journey once I started realizing real estate was pretty cool. And then, I mean, like the rest is history. I guess I learned the most from talking to people, because at this age, anyone who's been in the industry has more experience than you and can teach you so much. And I think, you can learn from people of all ages, but just that mere fact of, being in that position where you eventually want to be somewhere where, I guess beyond where you are in the industry, and, you can just hear how people did that and what they're doing, and find your interests, find connections. It's always great to learn, especially.
Exactly.
Yeah. And another thing I'd mention is, it's probably something, I guess, kind of has to do a little bit with Tulane, where I feel like Tulane's very, I guess it's a smaller school. So I feel like the alumni are very helpful, and I guess they probably get less solicitation maybe because, the entire network's a little smaller, but I feel like they're very helpful in that, you shouldn't be too afraid to, reach out to someone, because a lot of people are there to help, and like they remember being in your position, especially with, like what Mike said, if they're 1 or 2 years older than you, it's very likely that they reach out to someone 1 or 2 years older than them, help them, and they're hoping to pass on the goodwill. And this is an experience I've definitely had, and Mike's familiar with as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone I talk to says they have the best alumni network. Every time I talk to a student at a different school, and they're all right, because your alumni network is your best network, because it's your common theme. So, and it's important for every generation, everyone to always give back. It's a circle. With Tulane, my alma mater, near school, I mean, it's great. There's so many Tulane alums who give back. It's incredible. And they want to give back, because you want to keep that going and keep that positive, help, for each other in careers.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I guess going off that a little bit, I'm starting a networking group with two other Tulaneans, Joe Sulo and Christian McClure. It's called Real Estate and Private Capital Network, and it'll be I guess 4 Tulane students and 4 people in person in New Orleans to meet up at restaurants and at bars, or wherever, to have some casual networking where they can meet each other, network, learn, and also I guess exchange information, maybe do deals, and just I guess a cool networking group. There'll also be an aspect online where there'll be some speakers who will come in from around the country, which hopefully Mike will be there. He's been the first on the list of prospective speakers, so sure he will. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I'm in New Orleans, I'll come to the event as well.
Definitely, yeah, that would be super exciting. And I guess that's kind of a transition to talking about what Mike did, I guess, 20 years ago, which seems to have started something somewhat similar to what we're visioning. But he started YREP. And I mean, if you could tell us a little bit more about YREP, and I guess even tell us maybe a little bit about the mentorship program, that'd be super awesome.
Well, I mean, I started this group 20 years ago with some other people, and really to have an in-person networking event in Manhattan that was free to go to. There's no dues or anything like that. And we've kept it going once a month. We usually have it. The key thing for us is we have it on an off night, Tuesday, Wednesday, where the establishments, the restaurants in New York, they want our business on Tuesday, Wednesday night. Where they're busy on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but not on Tuesday, Wednesday, or even Monday. So we've been having it at places, and we have anywhere from 80 to about 140 people come per event. Owner operators, lenders, developers, brokers, architects, engineers, financial planners, attorneys, you name it. You don't have to be in commercial real estate to come. And it's been a great way to meet people in a casual setting. And it's been great. And I mean, over the years, as I've gotten older, and when people graduate from college, they start coming to events. So there's always new people every year coming to the events. What started during the pandemic, though, we started a workshop, which is totally different than the group, but it's under the same banner, where we're helping college kids learn about commercial real estate careers, where people who I've met at the events, they're giving advice to college kids about networking, about what to do at their job, about how to land an interview, how to find their career path. So we started this is, I think we're on our 4th workshop now, really for people in the group to get back to college kids, to help them learn about careers in commercial real estate. So so we're on it. Yeah. And that's been great too.
Yeah. And I'll also vouch for that it's been one of the most helpful things for me, because as I, knew I liked commercial real estate, but I had not as much of an idea of the jobs within, going to the workshop and hearing from some of the professionals that Mike brought on and interviewed was super helpful. And actually a couple of them are mentors to me nowadays. And so it's been a great program, and I've learned a lot.
Well, and that's a great thing you mentioned. That's great, because that's the key thing is definitely get to know, have several mentors, and just in general, people should always have more than one. It should have 5 people, 10 people they can look for advice, because everyone has their own opinion. I have my own opinion about commercial real estate careers, and someone else may have a different opinion than someone else. And what was helpful for me too, were my professors. very helpful for me in my career, not just at Tulane, but at Columbia Business School. The professors were great, and career services were great for me. They helped me so much, giving me advice. So it's almost like a 5-pronged approach. You talk to career services and your professors and your classmates, talking to friends and family, talking to alums, finding jobs on LinkedIn, and then same thing with networking. You want to network with all those people too, and it's just daily effort, and it all works out.
Yeah, I really like that, because I think you never know where the $2,000 contact is going to be, or the person who helps you find the job exactly that you want. But I think it's really cool if you just, no matter who, like friends and family, people you're networking with, people you just meet, just tell them what you want or what you're looking for or what you're interested in. And you just never know how that's going to play out. Maybe they'll introduce you to someone who could teach you more, or maybe they can introduce you to someone who is looking for to hire someone in the exact position you're looking for. I just think the more people you tell what you want, the more likely you'll be able to achieve that as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's a good point. Always tell people your goals. This is an example about a job, but I hear about job openings all the time, and then one time, there's a 24-year-old who I knew. He said, "Mike, I'm looking around. Do you know anything?" I said, "Yes. Yesterday I heard about a job opening." And long story short, he got the job. And the thing that he did was smart, was that he let me know that he was looking. He had a great job, but he's looking for something else, and he let people know. He said, "Look, if you hear anything," some people, and that was smart of him, just to tell his mentors, "I am looking for something. If you find anything, you hear anything, let me know." And I tell students or anyone, any professional, just tell people if you're looking around, or if you can, quietly at least, or just always seek advice from different people, because people want to help out, and they'll go to the bat for you too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I've seen that a lot in my experience so far. So definitely great advice. And I guess so. I wanted to ask you a few questions about how throwing an event for YREP, just so I can learn some, or Joe and Kristen and I can learn a little bit about what makes a killer event and how you make sure people enjoy it and have a good time. So I guess you give us a couple pieces of advice about how do you make sure it's an enjoyable experience for anyone, or the people who attend, and then if you have any advice for following up and creating a good experience overall, we'd love to hear.
Well, I think any networking event, any organization, the best thing is first of all, have a place that's not too loud. I mean, I think it sounds so funny for your generation, but you don't want a place where you can't hear anyone. I can't tell you how many times I've hosted an event. I'll tell them, "Please turn softer." We have a great crowd, maybe a young crowd that we want to talk to each other. That's the biggest complaint I've done in 20 years. When it's loud, I get so many complaints because they want to talk to people. And just have a fun place where you have a dedicated area. Sometimes we go to venues in New York that give us a dedicated area, which is great, because then people know it's. And then we always have name tags too. You write your name on a sticker or name tag, because people that helps the icebreaker so much. You put your name, where you work, or that's how we do it, or just put your name, and it helps so much, because then you're more approachable. And again, people nowadays at events, they have their LinkedIn open, on their phone, and they connect that way. That's an easy way to connect now, and it's great. And people follow up with each other and have a good time.
Right, that's awesome. Yeah.
And remember, as you mentioned before, network is not just about a deal or a job. It's about just building your network, people in a good way. You want to create positive relationships in the business world. You never know when that person can help you with this, or maybe they'll help you with market research about the Pittsburgh office market or something like that. It's not just about a deal or a job. It's about just building your professional network, and then you're not stressed as much, because you can go to so many people.
Yeah, and I think another great point is I really want to help people as much as possible, and I know I'm a little young and I might not have the most experience or most connections. I think I have a pretty good network so far, but I mean, even in my position, I like to meet people just because I want to help out in any way I can, and I think a lot of people feel that way because I mean, so many people are willing to be open and give me honest advice and, chat with me about what they did. And I mean, I want to pass that along, and I think I'm gonna do that my whole career for sure. But yeah, I mean, I definitely I want to create an environment where there's, I could help people just by holding this networking event. So now, I'm part of the reason why anyone meets anyone. And I just think that's a really cool way to add value to the industry and to the people you are in your network and you enjoy. So yeah, I really love that aspect as well.
Definitely. No, definitely.
Yeah, great. So I guess we'll start winding the interview down now, but I want to give you our lightning round questions. So I got 4 questions for you, and they get increasingly more difficult. So I think hopefully you can handle it. But I'm kidding. But here, let's start with, if you had a superpower, what would that be? If you could have any superpower.
Superpower. I'd probably be, I think Superman, or just be able to fly. I love just be able to fly and see. It's funny about being commercial real estate. I'm always thinking about aerial view. I'm always on Google Maps. I would love to just be able to fly and just see the world in a real estate view, but just the beauty of everything. It'd be even so much better. I mean, we do it from the airplane, but just be able to do it like Superman does.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I've never taken, I thought flying is a cool superpower, but I never really thought about it that way. It's kind of, I was kind of thinking, it's like you took a real estate spin to it. You're like, maybe I can, help me make comps because I'll be able to see the status of the roof.
Yeah. I mean, that thing can really help. You can fly and kind of see. Yeah, exactly. It would help in real estate.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I could be comps man, where I could instantly know the value of any property.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be silly. Maybe supersonic speed or something. All right. So the next one would be, what's your favorite book, or if there's one that helped you the most? What would that be?
That's an easy one. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
That's a good
How
one.
to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I read it probably once or twice a year for the last 25 years. In fact, my book is like brown now. But it really is one of the best books. I mean, it's not the best title of a book when you think about it. It's not about winning friends. It's about how to deal with people. And that truly has changed my life, that book. Truly. I mean, you learn how you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, you listen, and just that concept. And it's important for me to read the book twice a year so I can remember these concepts, but that's definitely my number 1 book. My second book is Mission Success by Og Mandino. All of Og Mandino's books are great, but Mission Success is easily one of the top 2 books as well.
Awesome. And yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People is amazing. So I've read I think by that now it's 45 books this year. I've just been sucking information as much as possible. And that was one of the best ones that stuck with me the most, because I just remember this one comes up a lot, but just answering the phone with a smile and the difference that can make into just the whole, progression of the conversation. And just, I think for me, it's just feeling positive and happy as much as possible just by, starting with the smile. But just picking up the phone with a smile apparently has it helps a lot. And I think
it's all about enthusiasm. By the way, not to interrupt, but what we didn't talk about, a question I get asked a lot is, what books can you read to learn about commercial real estate? And there are books, but I always tell people, read articles. I read all these commercial real estate articles. Every from the Real Deal, Commercial Observer. There's so many out there, and they're great. I actually go to LinkedIn and just find articles that people post, because that's how you learn commercial real estate is what's going on in the different markets, and what's happening. I read news articles. There are textbooks that go about I have my real estate finance textbook from business school here somewhere in my office. I'm in my office. But to really learn it's reading articles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Magazines about commercial real estate.
Definitely. And Mike, I read a lot of the articles that you send me every day. So I think that definitely helps. Just real estate's a always changing business. And I mean, things that were relevant even a year ago, let alone 20 years ago, are completely different now. It's a changing experience changing world that has a lot of variables that influence it. So it's definitely important to
Exactly.
get the, the new scoop, especially like policy and how that relates to the market at the time. And I've learned a lot from reading articles. I remember getting that advice I guess in the middle of the summer. Someone asked me who Jerome Powell was. I'll be honest. I wasn't too familiar with who it was. I thought I knew that he was involved with the Fed, but didn't know. And now, I listen to almost everything he says, just so I realize how important it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
and by the way, I put together a daily email every day. If people want to connect with me, I put together an email with different news articles, and I send out to some people. Yeah, just to learn that, because that's what I try to do. And sometimes you can just read headlines and you understand. LA $50 million joint venture on it. So sometimes you can even read the headline and you learn.
Yeah, we got the Mike morning message. Always a highlight. It's funny, when I was in Copenhagen, it wouldn't come out. It usually send it out like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. When I was in Copenhagen, it would come out like after I already read some articles usually, but now when I'm in the East Coast, it's the first thing I get. So that's awesome. And I guess just to mention, we talked about the importance of articles, but I think that you can learn a lot about real estate through podcasts and conversations like this. It's kind of like getting filled, or you're getting filled in on a networking call between two professionals who share a lot of similar interests with you. And furthermore, I'll give a quick plug to Hunter Thompson. His Raising Capital for Real Estate book was that's a pretty good one to learn about the finance side of real estate. And I guess the Bigger Pockets books are pretty good for entry level. And then
exactly. Well, the cool thing about the industry today, first of all, again, real estate is so diverse, it's incredible. And a lot of books out there about flipping houses or investing in real estate, which is incredible aspect of it in terms of like jobs in real estate, then and about jobs and the office sector in New York and the retail sector in the East Coast. Then that's where articles come in, because you understand what's going on about that. And it's all great. It's important to read.
That's very true. And it's even cool because you get on the Real Deal and like Commercial Observer, you could read about specific deals that occurred in certain markets that you're interested in. And that's like, I've learned so much about New York from like reading articles every day on Commercial Observer. Like when I saw the St. John's Terminal article, it's like, oh, Google is coming to New York. Like that's super cool for like the office sector. And, it has implications. And I think it's cool to just even learn about the micro level like that.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, that was a tangent in the lightning round, but always got a lot of good stuff. So I guess the next question would be, what motivates you each day?
It's motivated to be a good person, for my family. I have a family, so to provide for my family, and to help out too. You only live once, so try to be the best person you can every day. And actually, but a cool thing that I do I mentioned this. I was interviewed a couple weeks ago. So, on January 1st every year, I always wake up and say, "Wow, I'm going to meet so many people this year." I say that. I say I want to meet so many people this year. I want to make the effort to meet people and build my network this year and every year. And I start the new year ready to go, and you just never know. And then you're gonna meet so many great people throughout the year. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's super awesome, and it's definitely that's a really cool aspect. Is meeting people is always different, and like every person is different. And I think it's like that's a really cool part about real estate that makes it so unique. It's like you're never gonna have a similar day, and especially with regard to networking. Like you're gonna meet so many different people, and just you never know what you can learn and what connections you can make. And that's really motivating too, and something I love about real estate. Cool. So the last question for you is, what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
My footsteps. Well, first of all, again, like I forget if I mentioned before, but it's great to set goals. I'm a big goal setter. And again, the main thing is just it's okay if things change. Like I thought I was living in Houston my whole life, and I moved here, but it was the greatest, life turned out great, so like you just never know, be willing to, always set goals every week, every month, every year, and then be willing to deviate if things happen in the world in a good way too. You just never know. So just keep an open mind. I think that's the key thing in my career. And my common theme is a commercial real estate. I didn't care if it was lending, acquisitions, asset management. I just love being in the asset, near the asset, with the asset, and I still am, and that's what I love about it. And and that's right. I love being in the industry. I love what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome and makes a lot of sense, and appreciate you sharing. I guess so. Since I put you on the spot, I think it's only right that I give you a chance for some revenge. So if you feel free to ask me anything you'd want to know about me.
So I used to tell me some of your goals. What are some of your goals? Or actually, I'd like to know what your superpower would be, or if you have one or two superpowers.
All right, cool. I think super speed would definitely be my superpower. I've always kind of been proud of myself for my speed and agility in an athletic sense. So kind of, it'd be cool to extend that, or like one of my skills is speed, and okay, now let's be the fastest person in the world. But I think it'd be super helpful for sometimes I'm just hungry. It's okay, I'm gonna go get Chipotle right now. I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
And I can go, I don't want to talk to Mike on the phone. How about we, have an in-person meeting in 30 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And that'd be super cool too.
Right.
I think it just facilitate,
that would be.
Yeah. Right. Travel is a huge inconvenience for me sometimes. I feel it'd be really easy just if that wasn't a concern. So I guess flying might help with that too though. So
exactly.
Yeah. I say maybe super strength too, so I can move to New Orleans, but in one speed run with all my stuff on my back instead of back and forth a million times. But yeah, exactly. that would be my superpower.
Good.
Cool. Well, I guess that's all the questions from me, and I think we learned a lot today, and it's really great I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I think there's a lot to learn from this conversation and from you in general. And I guess if there's any way that people could reach out to you that you want to share, feel free to do so.
Yeah. They could connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always have LinkedIn open, and feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. If you're interested in that networking group, you could go to the website. It's just the acronym YREPNY.org, and you could click to join. It's free to join. You could click to join. Again, it's mainly New York, at least our group's mainly New York, New Jersey. So it's someone who's in the tri-state area up here working. But we are going to have some virtual events coming up. We're probably have a virtual speaker series starting soon. So feel free to join the group anyway. And please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and definitely recommend connecting with Mike. I've learned so much, as you can already tell. But also if you want a connection, you feel free to reach out to me. And if you're in New Orleans or a Tulanian and you want a connection, you can reach out to me. And also if you're interested in the networking group in New Orleans, I'd be happy to tell you guys some more about that. So we got a bunch of options for networking here, and I'm super excited to chat with anyone about that. I'm sure Mike is as well.
Good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, feel free to connect with me, and look forward to chatting.
Great. Well, Mike, thank you for your time, and everyone who's listening, thank you as well. And see you in the next episode.
All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.